Hi, welcome to section 3.4. We're on page 74, and today we're talking about the present tense of tener and venir. So the verb tener means to have, and the verb venir means to come. And these are going to be used frequently. They're going to be used all the time. But because their forms are irregular, okay, we want to make sure that we memorize their conjugations, because otherwise it's going to be difficult to conjugate them if you're expecting a normal ER or IR verb. So, the verb tener will be conjugated as tengo, tienes, tiene, tenemos, and tienen. Okay, so a couple of things to point out here. One of them is the fact that here we have our yo form, which is just going to be completely irregular, okay? Now here, we're also going to have what I've heard called like the boot verbs. Now it's not truly a boot verb because this verb, this first person singular, doesn't match, but you'll notice that these form kind of like a shoe, okay? Because second person singular and then third person singular and third person plural all have that change here in that stem. Okay? They change from E to IE there. But notice that this one doesn't change, right? It's just that second person singular, third person singular, and third person plural. Okay? So we'll have that stem change from E to IE in second person singular, third person singular, and third person plural. Okay, we have a very similar pattern for venir. Okay, so we have venir. Yo vengo, tú vienes, él viene, nosotros venimos, and ellos vienen. Okay, so again, very similar thing here. That your form is going to be irregular. And then we're also going to have that stem change here from E to IE. In second person singular, third person singular, and third person plural. And then this one will remain the same. All right, so we're on page 75 now. All right, so expressions with tener. So in certain expressions, ser is going to use the construction tener plus a noun instead of ser or estar to express the English equivalent of to be plus an adjective. Okay? So, and now here when you see tener, you're going to end up conjugating this one in order to say the expression. So, for example, the tener años, with that tilde, años, yo tengo 10 años. This is where it's saying, I am 10 years old. But instead of using the phrase to be plus an adjective, we're going to use tener. So that's conjugated. And then we have our noun, right? I have 10 years is essentially what you're saying grammatically. But we're going to use this, we're going to translate it as I am 10 years old. Okay, so that's how you would use that one. And then for the next, most of the rest of them, it's just going to be a noun plus the verb, right? And then you can have a modifier, just like diez was a modifier for that noun. So for example, tú tienes calor. Okay? It means you're very hot, like your temperature is hot, like you have a fever or you're feeling really, really overheated. Okay? Él tiene mucha hambre. Okay? He is very hungry. Now, one other thing I want to point out to you here is that, of course, these are going to use mucho or mucha depending on what follows it. Okay, so mucha prisa, so if he's in a hurry, but mucho sueño. So you want to make sure that you're looking at these. Some of them, it's going to be harder to tell whether it's masculine or feminine. So like, for example, sed doesn't end in an O or an A. So that one you would have to memorize whether it's feminine or masculine. And it's feminine. But so you want to make sure that you are able to use these correctly based off of their grammatical gender. Okay? So, to express an obligation, we can use tener, okay, which is to have to, plus an infinitive. Okay, so, for example, yo tengo, right? You're going to conjugate that form, que limpiar. I have to clean. So notice this is a verb phrase. So this goes together. This is your full verb, but you only conjugate the first one in this situation. Que is kind of your joiner here. I have to what? I have to clean. This remains in the infinitive form. Okay? Now, to ask people if they feel like doing something, you can use the phrase tener ganas de plus the infinitive. So, tienes ganas de dormir? Do you feel like sleeping? Okay, so these are very useful phrases to know. So you just want to make sure that you remember, of course, whenever you're using them, that in a verb phrase, like tener que plus the infinitive, you conjugate this one, and this one remains in its infinitive form. All right, so that's it for the actual lesson. I'm going to go ahead and do manos a la obra right now. So you can pause if you see fit. We're going to provide the appropriate forms of tener and venir. So, tener. Okay. Ellos tienen dos hermanos. Yo tengo una hermana. El artista tiene 3 primos. Nosotros tenemos 10 tíos. Eva y Diana tienen un sobrino. Usted tiene 5 nietos. Tú tienes 2 hermanastras. Ustedes tienen 4 hijos. Ella tiene una hija. Okay. Okay, and now the verb venir. Mis padres vienen de México. Tú vienes, come from, España. Nosotras venimos de Cuba. Pepe viene de Argentina. Yo vengo de Francia. Ustedes vienen de Canadá. Alfonso y yo venimos de Puerto Rico. Ellos vienen de Alemania. Usted viene de Japón. All right, that's it for this lesson. Please let me know in the form if you have any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you there.